So, where does Australia stand as far as the global far-right goes? You have the grooming gangs in England, which have radicalized the native British people. You have the migrant crime in the continent of Europe, which has radicalized a lot of Europeans towards the far right. You have nothing of the sort in America. Maybe mass migration, I guess, that is changing demographics that have radicalized Americans, but nothing on the level of the rape epidemic in the UK or the migrant crime in Europe. And if it is so, it hasn't been publicized. What I want to get at, though, is where does Australia stand as far as the far right goes? As far as the far right goes, Australia doesn't really have a place. Sure, they have radicals like Thomas Sewell, however you pronounce his name. He is a far-right neo-Nazi, I think. By his description, I believe. I don't like calling people Nazis unless they describe themselves as Nazis. And he seems to be a Nazi by his own description, a National Socialist and admirer of Hitler. I want to know, where do Australians stand as far-right goes? As far as I'm aware of, Australia does not have any major national scandals for the far-right to attach themselves to. No major radicalizing events. If anything, Australia is a very, very peaceful country. So, where do the Australians stand as far as the far right goes?
This audio was created with async.com.
Where do the Australians stand as far as the far right goes? I know they live in a sort of a nanny state where they're heavily policed. Australia, I believe, was the first country to limit internet access for those under the age of 16. The UK has followed suit. The US has First Amendment issues that prevents that from happening. So I'm just curious, where does Australia stand as far right goes? Is it limited to just Thomas Sowell? If so, then it's rather lackluster, because there's no major radicalizing event that tethers the far right to a mass political movement as we have seen in the UK with the Rupert Lowe and Restore Britain, and as we have seen with Generation Identity and Europe. So, interesting times we're witnessing today. The far right rising all around the world, all around the white world, galvanizing populations, dividing nations. It would be interesting to see how all of this plays out, and if anything were to kick off in any particular nation, where would Australia stand? After all, like I said before, Australia lives in rather an isolated nanny state, and it's almost incomprehensible that something major would happen in Australia. It's too isolated from the rest of the world. It's located in the heart of Asia. It has a massive immigrant population, but the immigrants commit very few crimes. It is almost too orderly as a society to have the kind of mass protest movements that we're seeing in the UK and in Europe. Anyway, interesting times.